Okay. All right, great. So good morning, everyone. I'm Maurizio Martinoli. I'm the IT director and business technology leader for Johnson & Johnson Medical in Italy. I'm pleased to be here. I want to share what we as Johnson & Johnson have been doing in the past months to really foster innovation and digital transformation in the healthcare space. So just let me give you a small introduction of what we do at Johnson & Johnson. J&J is divided into three macro sectors: consumer healthcare, medical devices, with the sector in which I am working, and pharma. You might know pharma as Janssen due to also the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, our aspiration at J&J is really to blend heart, science, and ingenuity to profoundly change the trajectory of health for humanity. So what does that mean? Well, we really want to have a positive impact for patients and all the others who use our products, as well as the health of our communities in the whole planet. We are seeking to provide solutions for some of the world's most pressing global public health challenges, and we work collectively to advance in better health for all. Now, one thing that has always united is our commitment to advancing for better health for all, as I just said. We like to say that J&J is a 130-year-old startup, and for these 130 years, this has been the focus of our company and our people. Now, if I was to say to you, what does health mean for you? What would you say? I think the majority of people are saying, well, when I'm not sick, which is okay. But for us, health means many things. We could say that it is the absence of disease, but it's more than that. It's actually eradicating the source of this disease. Otherwise, you get the disease again. We can say that it is about developing cures. But again, it's more than that. It's preventing the spread of sickness. And it's not only about manufacturing medicines. It's really making them accessible for those who need them. And the last, it's not only about medicine as a whole. It's really about supporting the entire healthcare systems and healthcare workers who deliver treatment and care for patients. Now, we are proud of our first invention in surgery, with innovations that have really transformed during the years the field of medicine. We began back in the late 1800s, where we have introduced revolutions in healthcare that already has saved and improved millions of lives and hundreds of generations. Now, moving from the invention of laparoscopy in the 80s to the digital robotic approach and digital solutions along the care pathway that are currently the right challenges. Now, as pioneers in medical devices, I'm happy to say that innovation is really in our DNA. We are committed to ensuring that our fully integrated, data-driven digital ecosystem empowers patients to take the responsibility to their own health. So that guides surgeons through procedures and helps them improve their skills. Now, in a rapidly changing environment as we are all today, we are trying to make connections across science and technology and our own expertise in surgeries, orthopedics, and interventional solutions. The big ideas that we have in our minds is to design and deliver physicians and patient-centric products and solutions. Now, we are continually focusing on elevating the standard of care. We work to expand patient access, improve outcomes, reduce healthcare system costs, and drive value. Our vision is really to shape the future where medical intervention is smarter, less invasive, and more personalized. Now, let's fast forward to today, actually to a year ago. We all know that more than a year ago, COVID-19 really swept across the world, sending us all in lockdown. Most of us stayed at home and we tried to battle the pandemic. We as a company were able to manage the emergency together with our partners. Today, we are gradually emerging from the issues that we had during the past year. And I feel confident to say that we've been able to find new ways of connecting with patients and customers to really add value. The whole situation of COVID-19 has driven the digital transformation process to make sure that our patients continue to get the right care when they need it. Now, throughout this pandemic, we have also been constantly challenged to rethink how we could deliver the care, how we now have a unique opportunity to do so. and we can reimagine the future of health today. Whether this is through developing meaningful innovations that drives better patient outcomes, or maybe prioritizing long-term health and wellness, or promoting health equity in underserved communities all around the world. But when we talk about innovations, we cannot avoid calling our patients, of course. Well, people's trust in technologies is a key factor to the effective digitization of the healthcare system. During COVID-19, we all experienced this, right? And COVID-19 has accelerated, and in some cases, it has also forced the adoption of digital technologies. We all know that, we all been through that. Even more interesting is the fact that this trend and propensity has been registered above all in the groups with greater digital gaps. Now, what would you say if I said that 59% of the Italian elderly said that at the end, digital innovation is nothing hard to learn to use? Well, that is incredible. We would never have thought that ourselves. Now, if you take the Immuni app in Italy, which is the COVID-19 tracking and trace app for COVID-19 during the pandemic, there's a different story. Like in Italy, we had about 10 or something million downloads, which is a really disappointing figure. And this is mainly due to the fact that there was no trust by the patients into how his own data was going to be used in the app. Now, the phenomenon was also shared in other nations as well. And it is clear how the trust factor in the efficacy of the technology goes hand in hand when we build consensus with the people that need to use the technology itself. So we cannot just say and create a beautiful app, say you need to use it. We really need to build up consensus on this. Now, if you get back instead into the solutions in digital healthcare, surveys show that citizens' trust and adoption come also through the actions of physicians. It is crucial. In Italy, as a matter of fact, 95% of physicians see telemedicine as the right answer for managing health and chronic conditions, even post-COVID-19 scenarios. So we're not only saying that this was something that was due during the pandemic, but also post-COVID-19, there is something that will still be used, and it is something that physicians are really looking forward for it. And of course, again, the trust of citizens also passes through the so-called patient empowerment. So what is that? It means that patients are no more passive people that will really get what they're being told by the surgeons, so by the healthcare professionals. They will be less and less passive participant when respect to the choices of their own care pathway. They will also seek authoritative, personalized, and immediately usable health information. And again, will demand greater control over their own health conditions through direct management of their own data. Now, with this in mind, we have introduced several solutions which I will walk through right now. One, first of all, we have been trying to extend the concept of the place of care beyond the single hospital, beyond the physical hospital, evolving the concept of the physical hospital into a virtual one. We also want the patients to stay in the hospital only when the type of care and treatment requires it, making sure that the time spent in the hospital before surgery or even after is used only by the patients to arrive at the surgery day in the best possible condition. So in essence, we have created a system that takes care of the patients in an innovative way, but caring way at the same time, providing more care and freeing up resources for high-intensive care system so that they are able to treat more patients. Now, the app I'm telling you about that we created is actually a digital solution that supports the patients in the care pathway with simple questions that are aimed to prepare for surgery as well as following up surgery, allowing the identification of any patient responses to be addressed in the follow-up. Now, daily interactions through the app allow also the team that follows the patients to be constantly informed of the patient status and gives them the ability to remotely monitor patients along their pathway. Now, in collaboration with healthcare professionals, we have developed for patients a variety of questions that patients are asked to answer each time at each day at a specific time, so that the hospital healthcare staff is promptly informed of what the answer is about. Now, in the pre-host phase, in line with the so-called enhanced recovery protocols, the question asked for the patients have the functions of reminding all the activities that the patient needs to do to get the surgery date in a proper way. So, for example, we tell them what to eat and what not to eat. We tell them to do some kind of physical exercise so they can be ready for the operational day and stuff like that. During the hospitalization phase, the app, of course, will continue to follow the patients, asking some very simple questions that, again, will not replace the activity of the hospital team since the patient is physically in the hospital, but they will be more concerning the post-surgery control of some of the parameters that the patient is asked. For example, like if he has fever, if he's feeling pain, how he's feeling in general right immediately after the surgery, body temperature, and level of intensity of pain, and so on. Once the patient then is discharged and returns home, that is called the post-host, the application will keep asking questions about a month so when he gets home, so that the patient will continue to be followed with questions designed to ensure an optimal course. Now, thanks for all this flow of information, the patient avoids unnecessary time within the access of the hospital, and thanks to the connection, the doctors will be always alerted of what is going on and how the patient feels, so that if they see that there are some thresholds, or if they see if let's say the patient has some kind of pain, they can call up back the patients to the hospital for a better visit. So the connection with the surgical team continues also after the surgery to promptly monitor any kind of possible complications that might occur. The app ends its validity when the patient officially leaves the follow-up period. Now, in addition to this, to help the system really address the needs that have emerged during COVID-19 and are set to continue in some cases, we also concentrated on operating room process standardization and supply chain optimization as well. Now, right because of this, during COVID-19 emergency, our platform, which is called SPI, was modified to better meet the needs that arose within the hospitals. Now, in this case, there was a need for new processes and standards that were being introduced, but needed a particular attention, such as for training and education, onboarding new staff, introducing new equipment or new processes. In particular, thanks to our platform, the processes of dressing of operators were standardized, reducing time and potential exposures to infections. The solution, as you can see here in the video, is actually a very clear step-by-step procedure on what to wear, in which order, and how to really properly get dressed for a COVID-19 area within the hospital premises. This ensures that all proper steps are being followed, avoiding the risk of being contaminated in a COVID-19 area within the hospital. Moving on, supply chain efficiency, we all know that in hospital has always represented an opportunity. We already had different solutions for supply chain hospital needs, but during COVID-19, we needed to offer a more agile and less invasive solution that could help our customer be more efficient, spend less time in supply chain activities, and spend more time with patients. Consider that up to 45% of the operating budget is driven by supply chain, and its inefficiencies generate waste, increase operational costs, and reduce time allocated for patients by clinical staff. So our smart solution is called Resolution Light, and it allows hospitals to automatically track and trace products to specific patients and procedures by using radio frequency identification technology, so RFID. This solution, the great thing about this solution, that is totally independent from the hospital's IT infrastructure. You can deploy it in minutes, basically. RFID improves the efficiency and reliability of all the processes, taking products while they move through the hospital supply chain. The products, of course, are tagged with the RFID tags when they leave our own warehouse, so J&J warehouse. Once they arrive at our customer's premises, the hospital staff is able to read all the details by simply getting closer to their RFID gun, an entire box full of our products. Now, as you can see here in the videos, the person is actually moving closer to a whole cabinet full of products, and it is scanning all their RFID tags, and they is getting actually the results right back on the screen of the handheld device. The automation of the system and the use of guarantee, actually the whole system guarantee a reduction of 80% of time spent of the hospital staff on the entire procurement office. It also allows to automatically order new products when a certain threshold is met. So if we agree with the hospital that if we reach a certain threshold, this whole system can place an order back to J&J automatically with no intervention from the hospital staff. Now, moving on to one of the last solution that I wanted to show you, and which we brought during COVID-19, is the possibility to support our surgeons without physically being in the operating room together with them. Now, this innovation is about a wearable technology that allows the so-called halo effect. What it means is that even if our product specialist of our person is not physically in the hospital, in the operating room next to the surgeon, he will still get all the details and information as if he was physically there. This is thanks to a pair of smart glasses that can be worn by the surgeon or a scrub nurse, for example, and are equipped with different technology. The glasses have two different cameras, a normal camera and an optical zoom one. Now, be careful, it's an optical zoom, it's not digital zoom, so that if the remote specialist wants to get real details of a specific spot in the operating room, he can get it with the same exact quality. It is also equipped with a microphone and an earphone, as well as a visor that is placed right in front of the surgeon's or scrub nurse eye, where multimedia content can be sent by our person and can be shown directly to the surgeon that is wearing the glasses. So our person is physically located in a remote location. He or she can also be home, of course. The glasses is seeing at the same moment, but is also able to communicate and also give instructions to the surgeons based on the procedure that is taking place. Furthermore, our specialist can take screenshots of what is being seen of the environment so that he can edit the screenshots, add arrows, add any kind of notes, text, and send them back to the surgeon so that he is getting the right instructions, knowing what he needs to do, thanks to the information that is seen on the visor. Now, let me show you a real case and how this works. As you can see in the video here, the quality is very good, and all the details are shown with no issues. The person is also able to view any laparoscopic video source coming out of one of those modules that are present in the operating room, and you will see in a few moments. This is actually helping tremendously the work of both remote specialists, who has a full view of the situation in the OR, as well as the surgeon or the scrub nurse that can keep up with his work while getting support from our person. And see, this is the video stream coming out directly from the remote, from the monitor that is present in the OR. Now, this is what I just said, halo effect that I was telling you before. It is like being there without physically being there. Now, think of all the possibilities that such innovation has, especially for the patients, for you, for me, for everybody. It will be possible to offer this kind of service in remote areas where maybe the surgeon might need instruction and support from a more experienced surgeon or from one of our specialists that has more knowledge about a particular procedure. But it's also a way to save on time and give support without spending time for traveling to the hospital. So if there is an emergency, we don't have to wait for our person to physically go there, but this can be served and supported right in the moment where this happens by just taking a snapshot and wearing the glasses and connecting to a remote specialist. Now, so to summarize and give you a quick recap, we really believe that there will be new go-to-market models that will reflect permanent industry changes. This digital transformation will increase virtual access to healthcare. Both clinicians today, as well as patients, are already expecting this and they want it. So this is why we keep introducing meaningful innovation that are fueling long-term market growth. Unlike pharma, when we talk about research and development in our sector, it is very important not only to innovate in products and technologies, but it is equally important to innovate in the way that our products are used. So what I mean by that is the customer experience is crucial in order to set a new level of standard when we talk about healthcare models and solutions, so that we want to positively impact all the outcome also of surgical techniques. This is fundamental aspect. It requires a large investment in our part, also in human capital and technologies to support the people that will use our products. Our technologies and solutions will cover the entire care pathway, and we will personalize and optimize the patient care, promoting efficiency, in the operating room, and enable also surgeon education, so that they will always be up to date with new techniques and new information they need to get. We are leveraging really the science and technology so that we can offer and create innovations that deliver significant value to our customer and patients. So I'm done. If I'm open to question, of course.
Thanks a lot. There are quite a lot of questions, and I love this part of it to make it even more interactive. Thanks a lot for the presentation. So if you click the chat area, you can see the questions yourself as well. I would like to start with the first one from Gerard Maas. Did you work on a kind of predictive maintenance by trying to prevent heart attack, for example?
Yes, indeed we are. We are already working on this. I did not present it today, but we are working on solutions that can predict heart diseases, as a matter of fact, so that we know before it will occur that the patient really needs to go to the hospital for better examinations, so that we don't get to the point where there is a heart stroke, of course. Yes, indeed, we are.
Thanks a lot. Sylvia Garcia has a question. Has Johnson & Johnson tried AR to assist patients at home, or people who take care of patients, or old people at their homes?
We are going to start using AR also for this. We have been using AR for professional education, meaning that it is a technique that we are already using today to give education to our surgeons on new products that we launch, on new techniques. So that is something that we have been already using with our customers. We will be introducing this eventually in the future also through the patients as well. Yes.
Thanks a lot. Another question. Paolo Bartolacci says, we all heard about cyber attacks, specifically targeting some hospital systems, at least in Italy. How do you protect connections over the network?
Yeah, that's a great question. All the solutions that I showed you actually are not really transferring any patient's data. So everything that you have seen is actually being ciphered and is in a way that there is no patient's data that is being transferred over the internet. Only the hospital is the counterpart that will be able to know that kind of data that is coming from that specific stream or that specific cloud server who belongs to. So there is no way that even if we have a man-in-the-middle attack, somebody will know who that data, who that video or that picture is actually belonging to. So there is a sort of hashtag or a sort of, I would say a hashtag that nobody knows about, only the hospital will know, not even us as J&J, we know that that specific video belongs to a certain patient. So that's how we mitigate this.
Thanks a lot for the reply. So I'm happy we have enough time. Maurizio is asking, what are the critical steps from an architectural point of view, network, HW, SW, for such impressive remotization as the one that J&J does?
Yes, okay. If you're talking about the app, actually that doesn't take the huge infrastructure. It is an app that runs on the 4G network, so even an older person that doesn't have any Wi-Fi at home can use it. It's really using a very few kilobytes per second when there is a question and answer scenario. Now, if you're talking about the glasses, the smart glasses, of course, that is crucial. What we do there is we rely on the connectivity that the hospital gives us in the operating room, and we demand to have a certain type of connectivity, because if we don't have enough bandwidth, of course, the images will downgrade as a quality. And also we will not be able, as our remote specialists, to get all the information that we need and all the details that we need in the video, so that we can instruct either the scrub nurse or the surgeons on how to operate, on how to really perform the specific procedure. So for that, we rely on the network connectivity of the hospital. We have also tried with the 5G network, but again, today, we don't have that much of 5G coverage in Italy, so all in major cities and all in specific parts of major cities. So as much as it is today, the whole infrastructure is running on a cloud network. And for the connectivity, we do rely on the hospital's connectivity, so that we are sure that we have a certain bandwidth, so that we can transmit and receive the video in a quality that will allow us to give instructions and get the right details during the procedures that is being followed. I hope that answers the question. Thanks
a lot. So then we have to be very careful which hospital we choose in order to get operations like this with the internet connection.
Well, we need, of course, we need full commitment and engagement from the IT department of the hospital, because without that, it's crucial that they are onboarded as well, because we really need their help and their skills to allow us to transmit and receive at a certain bandwidth speed, whatever we are doing, whatever we're transmitting.
Absolutely.